Medicare things you wish you knew but you never knew to ask about. Hi, I'm Bob Vineyard, your Medicare expert with the Georgia Medicare Minute. We're going to talk about some things that you probably never ask because nobody told you that, well, these are things you need to watch out for. Most of my videos, if you have been around for a while, most of my videos are about original Medicare and a Medigap plan, also known as Medicare Supplement. I have a few videos about Medicare Advantage, but not so much, and there's a reason for that. All of my clients have original Medicare and a supplement plan, and I have original Medicare and a supplement plan. The reason why is because it is so much simpler and I don't have to deal with managed care networks. This is a part of the Medicare Advantage world that you may know a little bit about, but you don't know everything. And I'm not going to make you an expert, but I'm going to at least cause your ears to perk up a little bit. And next time somebody talks to you about how great their Medicare Advantage plan is, you might say, I wonder if they knew this or knew that. So here we go. Again, there's nothing wrong with Medicare Advantage plans. Some people love them. Some people hate them. The ones that love them have probably never really had to use them. And I know this from experience because I get calls all during the year. People say, I can't afford my Medicare Advantage plan anymore. I want to change to a supplement plan. Well, that tells me that they're probably sick or they've had some kind of serious injury and they can't afford the medical bills. The premium is not a problem with Medicare Advantage because most of the plans in Georgia do not have a premium. And I've got a whole video on that too. But let's just talk about some things. Let's dig deeper in that managed care network. About half the plans, actually over half the plans in Georgia are HMO plans. The other half are PPO. Short synopsis on the HMO plan is it is a very, very, very small network. You really can't do anything outside of the network unless you get permission from your carrier to go outside the network. Otherwise, except in the case of an extreme emergency, if you go outside the network, your charges are not going to be paid for by your HMO Medicare Advantage plan. PPO is a little bit different. It's a little bit larger network, but still not as broad as original Medicare, which has no networks. So let's talk about the gatekeeper. This is a term that when the managed care plans first came into being about 30 years ago now. But when managed care plans first came into being, the term gatekeeper was used. And gatekeeper simply means before you can go see a provider, you have to go through the gatekeeper. You have to get permission to go in. Think of it kind of like, there's a nightclub somewhere that you want to get into, and they've got the rope out there and the man standing there, or it could be a woman, standing there and deciding who gets through and who doesn't. This is the way managed care plans work. You need to understand that in addition to all of the moving parts out there with Advantage plans, the co-pays and so forth, pre-certification or pre-authorization is something that is almost never discussed when somebody is trying to sell you an Advantage plan. Well, why? Because it's so much easier to talk about the other things, such as there's no premium. Isn't that great? Wouldn't you like to have free health insurance, except it's not really free, and they're not even supposed to say free. But there is no premium to a good number. Again, over half the plans in Georgia do not have a premium. And they will tell you that, well, you've got copays for this and copays for that, but, I mean, hey, they're real nominal. You're not going to pay much. And they may broach the subject of if you have to go in the hospital. Well, you've got a $400 a day or $500 a day copay that can last up to 7 days, and but that's only if you go in the hospital. And oh, by the way, I have a policy that will pay that for you, and they will spin all kinds of tales about why you need a hospital indemnity plan to go with your Medicare Advantage plan. And since you don't have to pay a premium, well, $40 a month isn't that much to make sure that when you go in the hospital, you have zero out of pocket or close to it. And then they'll talk about cancer and, well, yeah, it's covered under Medicare Advantage, but there's a whole lot of stuff that you're going to end up out of pocket, several hundred or maybe even a few $1,000s. You really need a cancer plan. And so they'll tack on a cancer plan for another $40 a month, and they'll find something else. And before you know it, you're paying $80, $100, $120 a month for this free health insurance that if you'd simply gone with original Medicare and a supplement plan, you'd have about the same out-of-pocket in terms of monthly premium, but you'd have a lot less out-of-pocket when the claims come rolling in. Managed care gatekeepers. All right. When you have original Medicare, there are no gatekeepers. What the test that you need to have run, the treatment that you need to have is between you and your physician. That's it. There's nobody else that says, well, we're going to think about this and see if you really need to have it, or you can either do without, or let's try something cheaper before we go that route. So when you're in original Medicare, there is no gatekeeper. You and your doctor or doctors decide your treatment plan, decide what tests need to be done, and Medicare pays them. In a Medicare Advantage plan, you don't have that. You have preauthorization. And so, for example, and it's going to vary some from plan to plan, but this is just a general overview of the way all of the Advantage plans work. Let's say that you go to your regular doctor and you have a P.C.P, as they're called, primary care physician, who is basically the coach, if you will, to tell you, all right, this is what we're going to do next, this is what we're going to do after that, assuming, of course, the insurance company endorses it. So you go to your P.C.P, and the P.C.P says, well, you really need this scan, and we don't do this here. So, you need to go see ABC imaging services and make sure that, you don't have something serious. Well, before you can go see ABC imaging services, your insurance carrier, your Medicare Advantage insurance carrier, has to sign off on it. They are the ones, not your doctor, they are the ones that decide if you actually need this scan or not. And if they do decide that you need the scan, then they will tell you, well, you can't go to ABC, you need to go to XYZ because XYZ is in our network and ABC isn't. And of course they may just say, no, you don't need that. We'll do something else. So you get into this situation with pre-authorization where the insurance company inserts itself between you and your doctor. Your insurance company decides which procedures, which treatment, which test and so forth that you are eligible for under your plan. Now, if you don't have a problem with that, hey, maybe a Medicare Advantage plan is for you. I personally, having been covered by a managed care plan for, about 30 years before I went on Medicare, I don't like it. I don't like the carrier telling me, overruling my doctor, which is basically what they can do and will do. So Again, this is my personal preference. You can do something different if you want to. But this is the way managed care plans work. You're not going to hear a lot about it, whether you go direct to a carrier and talk to them about it. You're not going to hear about, if you talk to an agent, that the very first thing out of the box is you need to look at these Medicare Advantage plans. I'll tell you why they're pushing them. They make more money. They make more money off the Advantage plan than they do a Medicare supplement plan. It's about twice as much as what they would make under a Medicare supplement plan. And then if you throw in the compensation that they earn from selling you a hospital plan and a cancer plan and an insurance plan, then all of a sudden they're making 4, 5, 6 times as much as they would off of just a supplement plan. So that's one reason why they're pushing them. But beyond that, if somebody says you need to have an Advantage plan, especially if it's one of your friends, do this. Ask them, have you ever used your plan for anything serious? Anybody that has used their plan for something major, they've had to go in the hospital, they've had to have additional testing done, they had to have outpatient procedures and so forth. Anybody that's actually used their plan, I don't think you're going to find they're as happy with it as they once were. So this is Bob Vineyard with the Georgia Medicare Minute. You take care. Have a great day.